You can be an introvert or an extrovert. Being extrovert normally helps. It brings a lot of more heat normally on if you're in marketing and sales and what you want to do. It's fine. But at the end, it's serving. Serve your people, serve your clients, serve your friends. Serving, give, never take. The problem is that people take. Mm-hmm. That's the problem. So you can be a global brand champion, be an introvert, but you have to serve. You have to serve.
Javi, welcome to the podcast. Finally, we made it happen. Welcome.
So good to be here.
Javier Díaz Fernández-Carvajal. You know, when I first saw your name on LinkedIn, I didn't know that LinkedIn had the feature that you can... Did you record your name or something? So that when I go there and I press, it says your name?
I did. I think I'm one of the few... the first people that did that there, because in Spain we have our second name is constituted by our father's name and our mother's name. So Diaz from dad, Fernández-Carvajal from mom. But that's not the words you'll see. I had one of my colleagues in university. He was called Ernest, and his second name was de Viana Cárdenas y de García Bernardo. So in order for the teacher to say his name, it took him like 5 minutes. I will never forget that name.
Right. So you were introduced.
Thanks for inviting me.
You're here because of Jeff Beatty, right? From Mozilla. I didn't know you existed at all. My
brother Jeff.
You were like, I was like, what is going on? Who is this guy? And Jeff told me,
ethereal.
If you ever had to interview someone, it has to be Javi Diaz. So now you're here.
Thank you.
Finally, we made it happen.
I'm here.
So, and when I found you, I'm looking at this guy and he's like global brand champion. So we have to talk about that, dude, because like, what the hell does it mean? Yeah. So let me give a little bit of background to please
the people that are listening and seeing it. Like I'm Spanish. I mean, with this accent, where am I going to be from, right? I've been living out of Spain since 2008 and I still haven't gotten rid of this accent and of the typical Spanish mistakes. Like, you're Slovakian, and I was working with Slovakians in my previous company. 2 companies before, in Prague, and they would make a lot of fun when they would see the written name of Slovakian Spanish with the E in front of the S, right? Slovakia, España, Estonia. So they would make a lot of fun of me, and they would say, like, when I would say stop and stuff like that, right? So I'm Spanish. I was born in 82, in the glorious year of 82. So I'm a millennial. I have been advocating and always talking about millennials and how we are the generation that should be in power right now. We're starting to get to be in power now. And we've lived through 2 major crises in the last 10 years. When we first get out of university, I finished law in 2007, went to the market in 2008, the world market 2008, and everything collapsed 6 months after. So I had the typical case of getting internships to get a first job, moving to Germany to get a first job in Germany, being a tour guide, founding a company in Ukraine, which was crazy as well. So I've had a lot of
You started a company in Ukraine?
And man, yes.
What?
Yes. I cannot reveal here the reason why, but I started a company in Ukraine back in 2013 with a guy that I met online, and we were talking for long. He said, you have to move over. And it's going to be super fun and we'll do this business. And here I am 6 months after I was out and being an illegal immigrant in Ukraine, which was something to tell to my grandkids, right?
Okay. So how did you actually get into localization, if you're talking about your background? When was your first step into localization?
Very good question. Like it's thanks to my boss, while working at Memsos, who was called Joseph Kubowski. And I was, as I said, as a millennial, I was struggling with my career 6 years ago. And then I started, this was summer 2014. And I was living in Munich, doing tour guiding in Munich, being a tour guide. Like you went to the Marienplatz and you see a guy with a shield there, tour of whatever, that was me. And then I had a corporate previous life that was started and I got stuck. So I decided to start sending CVs out of Munich, where I was living. And one landed in Joseph Kubowski's office in Prague, and he hired me, and I started in the industry. So that's about it. That happened in 2015, so 5 years ago.
What was your first role at MemSource?
Business development manager, junior. And I remember that conference in Stuttgart back in November that year, when my boss texts me to the stands there. It's just like, look, this is the competition. This is the other competition. You're not a junior anymore. And I'm like, yes, let's do it. Literally, that was the talk. And you can have him on your podcast one day, because he's a super funny guy and he can tell you about that story. So, then I became
do you consider Joseph to be sort of like your mentor? Not only when it comes to localization, but also when it comes to sales?
Definitely. I learned so much from him. I text him every couple of months saying, like, thank you for given me this chance, because if it wasn't for that chance, I wouldn't be here. So, and I tell him that I have a few mentors in the industry, people that I often talk to and ask for advice in things. And he's definitely one of them. And sometimes I do the opposite of the things he says, but it's okay. But I ask him for advice in any case.
You're right. So now how does this translate to global brand champion? You talked about being a millennial, so when did you start having this different perspective about sales and maybe marketing?
Yeah, that's a very good question. So I was going to say that's good that you asked, because so the first years in MemSource, I was able to have the role of senior business development manager or business development manager. And then I started focusing on the US market. So I had the role of US sales representative. And when I was doing that job, I saw that my biggest strengths were creating business opportunities, especially creating long-lasting, good friendship relationships with people that with the turn of the time, they would turn to be your clients. Like you mentioned Jeff, ask Jeff, for example, right? Who I met through one company, and then in the next one, he was my client, and he's a very good friend of mine. We talk all the time as well, right? We constantly in touch, right? So I saw that I had a typical, or that on paper, I had a typical sales role. And I said, what about focusing for the next time that I can take another job, which happened in 2018, right? What if I get a job focusing on the thing that I do the best versus becoming this typical salesperson? Because a salesperson normally has two cycles or two parts of a job, right? Like the opening part, where you go out there, you meet the people, and you focus on doing the relationships. And then the other part, which to me, for some reason, it seems easier. I don't know. Like once you're at home and you have the opportunity and the people are ready to do business with you, it's easier to land that deal, say it that way, right? So, but I said, let me focus on this. So other colleagues of mine in the organization, once I have built enough relationship with all these people, and the people are ready to buy and ready to see what you're doing, my colleagues can help them develop their quality account that way, right? So for that, I said, I need to stay away from the typical sales role. I'm a different kind of person. I'm a person that is living out of positivity. I'm a global person. I'm a whatever. So I said, let's look for a role that is that goes according that lives according to our industry, right? Our industry is localization and globalization. So I said, okay, global, it has to be global there. And then I was focused a lot, as I said, it's a mix of you're right, it's a mix of marketing, it's a mix of sales. And it's beautiful. It's a beautiful role, man. I'm creative. I can create. I can do things in a different way. I have supportive people that are behind. So I said, I'm doing things like, okay, I was Googling like, what are the typical millennial new kind of roles that are invented by companies, etc. And then I saw ninja, samurai, whatever. I said, champion. I was like, champion. It's gonna be champion, right? And then I was focused on the brand expansion, focusing a lot on the fact that I represent the values of a company. I work only with good people. So let's focus. Let's make people think that when they are looking at a brand, they because there's so much competition in our market, in the localization industry. Everyone is a vendor, or most of the people are vendors, but people have to relate somebody to a brand. So I said, okay, we have to have the word brand there as well. So global brand champion, and the brand has to go along. Has to be matched with my personal values of living, of doing business, etc. So that's how I came across the new role, the new way of doing business, and that's it. That's how the global brand champion initiative started a few years ago. And in my plans, I tell you, I would love to see a ton of global brand champions around the world in various industries, because and it's a claim for anyone that is watching out there. There's a lot of sales podcasts that you see around, and people from our industry, which they're leaders right now, and they talk about old-fashioned ways of doing business, from my understanding. And think that you and I, we're both millennials. In 3 to 10 years, we're going to be the leading workforce in the industry, not only in our industry but in the world. And we don't buy the same old-fashioned ways that people are buying now, or the same old-fashioned ways. I didn't want to say the same old-fashioned ways. The same ways people buy now. So I wanted to create something new that in the future that reflects to where the future of buying is going towards: community, friendships. Now with the COVID, connection, being connected with everybody, being all the time online, being there, not helping all the time, and something that goes along that path, right? So that's why I created the role. That's why I'm trying to do things in a different way, and it's working. It's literally working. It's literally working. I have a lot of people, and this is for all of those who don't believe this can work, that I build and work in my community in talking about things that are interesting for them. That's why I also created this initiative of Localife, which I can talk about later. And I spend time talking to them, and they come to me and tell me, what does Acclaro do? Oh, I need a vendor right now. What does your company? And it has happened it's October 13 today. And this has happened from August to now, in the last 6 weeks, 3 times. So, and this works. This works. It takes the same time. And for those who don't believe that a methodology like this works, I don't see nobody else doing something like this. This takes exactly the same time to develop as picking up a phone book and starting calling people and bugging people with emails. Exactly the same time. So
it's definitely more scalable, right?
You might think I'm crazy, but it's more scalable. Yeah, it's more scalable. It's scalable. It's affordable. Like the other day, I participated in this talk in the Lock from Home conference. And then one of the questions that I got from the audience was like, I have been lucky enough to be able to be always there, to travel, to be available, to be in all the conferences possible in the States, in Europe. And the other day somebody asked, how do you do this when you're a small LSP or a 2-man show company that you don't have the resources to go to Silicon Valley for 2 weeks? It's like, this is amazing. There's no better chance than LinkedIn, internet, Instagram to do this now. It's amazing. So, start building community.
So just to be sure that I got this right, when you were telling us that there are 2 parts to sales process, and you said that the second part is the easier one for you. So does it mean that you're doing the second part, or you're actually doing the first part? Because from what I see, you're focusing on the first part, which is building the relationships, getting your name out there, building the brand for Acclaro, and making friends, which eventually turns into business. And what I understand is that when the potential clients are ready to buy, that's when you hand them over to other people who may be better to, let's say, set up the processes or the operations for the client. Is that correct?
Yeah. Easier. I didn't want to say the word easier, because if somebody is on sales and looking at us and it's an old-fashioned salesperson, he's going to say, I'm going to kill that guy as soon as I see him. Nothing's easy in this process, and it takes a lot of hard work, right? But if you structure the work in 2 parts, in which one focuses on the part that normally people do not, for some reason, Andres, I see people that are not, most of the salespeople prefer to stay at their office, at home, whatever, and work on some lead that they get on the table. So I said, I like precisely the other part, the going out there and meeting the people and making real friends. And once they're ready to buy, I will make sure that they have a smooth transition from that moment when I met them and the relationship that I built with them. So they're ready to be taken care by another colleague of mine who's going to make them succeed in onboarding into my company, into the company that I'm working in, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's it. I didn't want to say the word easier, sorry, but there's always negotiation. There's always things that are, I don't like this. What are we going to change, etc. Right? But I meant, let's rephrase this. I meant that I could do that also, and this is one of the things that I talk about with my boss when I was landing the new job. But I would rather have somebody that is a specialist in doing this at home that wants to continue this, so I can focus on the other part.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, let's do this, and it's working.
I don't think there's anything.
It worked in the other company. It's working now.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with saying something is easier, because what might be easier for you might not be easier for other people, and we should make our life easier. So it's more about the fit. Like I think like your role that you created for yourself fits your personality. That's why it may be easier for you, while other people might be struggling with it, but they might be able to help with a different part of the process, and that might be easier for you, and you might be struggling with that one. So nothing wrong with that. Okay.
Thank you. So that's a good way to put it this way. I agree with you.
So nobody will kill you yet, but hopefully you'll say something more controversial later. So you
want controversy?
Well, you know what works for millennials, right? Authenticity.
Jesus Christ. One of the first books that I read like a long time ago about marketing was about controversial marketing, and examples like Jose Mourinho in football, how he's doing, and I don't know if you guys watch a lot of football. You're Slovakian. You should be into hockey and football, or soccer, what the Americans call soccer, right? So I read about a couple of examples. Jose Mourinho, the trainer, was a good one, like how controversial he was in the marketing that all brought and all the things. So there's controversial marketing as well, right? There's controversial way of selling, right?
I think the two of us maybe don't even have to try to be controversial. We just have to be authentic, and it will be controversial for a lot of people. So we don't have to try much. What I like when you were talking about how you had this discussion with your manager. So I want you to take us back to the first time when you were actually pitching this idea. Because you said that you would like to see more global brand champions arise. So let's start with that. How did your first conversation go? What were the things that you proposed that would be of value to the company so that they give you a chance trying something new?
That's a super good question, man. And okay. So in the previous company, I brought this role, I created this role in the previous company that I was working for called BureauWorks, which is a Silicon Valley company, Brazilian Silicon Valley based technology and transitions company, right? And when I first got the job offer from Gabriel Fairman, which I love him so much, and he's also another of my mentors and another good friend of mine, and he's the CMO that I had there, Aaron Schlim, the uncle that I never had as well, people that I really love. So the offer said business development director, and I signed. Let's do this. And 3 months into the job, which was in 2 years ago exactly, we had this meeting talking about Javi, you've been doing great. I knew you were my friend before, and I saw how you relate with people, etc., and how you are able to create interesting conversations that could lead to business, right? But you do the best thanks to how you are in being focused in the relationship building, creating, and when the client is ready, passing it over, right? So why don't we look for a different title? And I said, this is amazing. Let's do this. Let's change the approach to sales. Let's do it in a different way. And then that's when the thing that I explained before, how we came up with the name. It's literally like that. I remember one day at the Silicon Valley office, like, how am I going to do this? Oh my God, researching titles, and then global brand champion. And he goes, yeah, that's awesome. Boom.
So you didn't actually have to convince anyone, right? You didn't have to pitch anything. It just came naturally from your boss.
Yeah. I mean, they said that, but I sort of pitch. I hate to say the word pitch, man. Come on. No, I'm kidding. But I wrote an article on LinkedIn a few months ago about the death of the sales pitch. Okay. How that is a dead thing. You don't pitch people, especially nowadays. Like, to me, it might sound a hypocrite, but you don't pitch people. All the information is there. People ask you if you're able to deliver values. they will always ask you what you do. So for me, that's what I wrote. You can go to my LinkedIn page, right in the few articles that I wrote, and one is the death of the sales pitch. It doesn't exist anymore. But anyway, let's not be hypocrite. And to pitch it, okay, when I started in this company in Acclaro in May this year, I had talks and conversations with my boss. I love him, Matt. Hello, if you're watching, I love you too as well. Give me a raise. So I had this super good conversations, and our solution architect there connected us, Bill, which I have been working with before in Memsos, and I love him as well. I love everybody. You see, it's true. It's true, bro. I have no enemies. I love people. Yeah, big time. Oh my God, yeah. And I was telling him like. We have a team of very good salespeople, a more old-fashioned way of doing business, and a person that would be going out there and spreading the word, the news, would be a super good add-on for a company. So I jump on a call with Matt, and I tell him, okay, so number one, I am an outbound salesperson, call it that way. I really like to focus on being there, front line, first guy with the sword charging, right. And I want to continue doing this. I've been doing this for 5 years almost. 5 years exactly in the industry. It's worked so well. It helped me develop my personality, my career. I'm being innovative because it's a mix of sales and marketing. It's a mix of content. It's a mix of it's a job that allows you to use all the available tools, social media. You probably follow me on LinkedIn. I'm doing a lot of content there. A lot of content. Every 2-3 days, I do a post, I do a video to express ideas that are engaging. It's working really well. Like the other day, the guys in SmartCat, they told me that they analyzed the influencers in the internet, and they said, you are the influencer with the biggest engagement of all.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, thank you. I didn't know, they're all friends. What am I going to do? So it's good because it allows me to do a lot of innovation and use the channels that at the end, man, people use them only to share content from someone else in the company normally. B, comment on conferences to attract views, which 9, or not use the tools properly, right? Basically, those few things, right? And I'm doing crazy stuff. I'm going to do crazy stuff, like things that are different. That I want to do different. Like I want to go and I'm doing a video. I want to tell a story, like doing business, telling stories, like storytelling marketing, call it that way, right? So I have a story to tell, which is the story of the nomad, or the digital nomad, that I'm traveling a lot. I'm here, I'm there. I now it's different. It's difficult. My biggest number of friends in the industry are in the States, all of them. Like all of them, the biggest number of them are in this, and I cannot go see them, right? So I'm trying to create content for them to see that I'm here, that I at least check where I am, wherever, right? Being original, like bringing up like ideas, like general things that are on everyone's mind and nobody talks about. That's another of the that's one of the reasons why I created Localife as well, right?
Yeah.
So
I had 2 questions.
Yeah,
so I'll start with the first one, because you mentioned that during this process of adapting to your new role, you developed your personality. So was Javi Diaz someone else before? Like, because I would say that you are naturally extroverted. Like this suits you so well because of that, especially since you're Spanish, and I consider all the Spanish people to be super extroverted, super social. So how was Javi Diaz before the role? Did you really actually have to adapt something, or was it just like the role naturally brought up something that was in you already?
That you have amazing, super good questions, bro. I like them. Do you like philosophy?
I don't know much about it, so
let me bounce back to you. Okay, so one of the I'm not a big philosophy and psychology. Like I should have been a historian and an archaeologist. That's what my real passions are. But jokes aside, I sometimes read about psychology, philosophy, and stuff like that, and I discuss it a lot with Jan Hinrich, which is going to be your next guest in this podcast. Probably you have to invite him as well. Okay. The creator of and founder of Localaunch, and a very good friend of mine. We discuss a lot about psychology, and one of the things that we discuss and I bring upon him all the time is the concept of the Jungian shadow. like how all the things that you have experienced in the past. I mean, this is very basic, like how all the things that you've lived in the family, in your friends, at school, when you were a kid, etc., have developed, or you are reacting to those things to develop a personality like me. I was the fat student at school and super good marks, man. And that's probably the Javi that you see. That's probably a reaction to that. It was enough for me, something like that, right? So.
Okay.
So that's I have changed. I have developed the personality as well, right? When I was in university, it's never that I've been an introvert, no, but I wasn't. I had fears. I had limitations. I have them as well. Now, of course, everyone has them, but I had more fears of going to people and ask them kindly things that would make them feel comfortable, so they give you a nice reply. For example, I wouldn't have the guts to go to somebody and tell them, hey, can you whatever, right? I don't know. And those things with the time, they've changed. I've seen that, by asking in a good way, you don't have to be afraid of a no. So
right.
So my personality has evolved, not changed, but evolved. I think it's evolved, right? It evolved. Like I was born one way. I'm a privileged person. I know I am a privileged. And Dad, if you're watching, thank you. Like my mom, yeah, I'm a privileged person. So yeah. It's evolved. It has evolved, and every day is evolving, man. Every day is evolving. Every day is like I have a girlfriend, but she's not here, and I live alone a lot of the time. So a lot of the time, I'm thinking how to improve, how to do better, how to connect with more with people, and all those things that you're thinking sometimes of. I don't like this, and then you ask yourself why am I doing so this is an evolving thing, and it's the creation of the global brand champion role, way, initiative, call it whatever. It's a result of the evolution, and it's evolving, and you have to be flexible and be ready to see whatever comes, right? So
I'm also a huge fan of self-improvement, and I try to do this very systematically. I'm a very organized and systematic person, because I think that if you don't have a system to something, you're just basically doing things randomly when they come up. So how do you develop yourself? Do you do it systematically? Like, let's say you take notes about yourself, how you reacted in a certain situations, nothing like that. You just freestyle?
I do, man. You asked me the other day about Gary B and stuff like that. I agree with the guy, like
exactly.
I know he could be whatever, and he can be a charlatan. He can always be selling his company stuff, but sometimes he says things that are interesting, right? And I like I just do things. And I was talking about this with John the other day, and he said, "You're an executioner, dude." It's like, yeah, I don't write down things. I do it wrong. I saw what I do. I see what I do wrong, and sometimes it gets stuck in the back of my mind, so I don't do it again. If I could give an advice to anyone that's watching, develop your emotional intelligence, and that's the key to evolve. I mean, that's the key from my understanding to evolve and to be a better person and professional.
Okay, Javi Diaz, how do you develop emotional intelligence? Especially for
listening.
People who may not have a lot of it, like me.
Dude, listening, it's so easy.
Listening.
Okay, so listen. It's so easy. Just listen to everybody. I talk a lot all the time. And I am the guy that you want to be in the party with, because I'm talking and I'm making everybody feel happy around me, right? But you can't imagine how much I listen. I listen to people. I listen to my friends. I listen to everybody, and I get a lot of advice. And I get a lot of insights from that. A lot of insights, and people feel comfortable when they're around somebody that listens, and then that helps you. I mean, using a little bit of common sense, that helps you create a response and respond, right? And respond to that, right? So that's basically it. No magic, emotional intelligence, and just a little bit of a thought and stuff. I truly am. I'm really.
And kindness, right? That's one of your motto on LinkedIn. How did you arrive to that?
Yeah.
Kindness.
You asking about the Gary Vee thing? No.
No. This time I didn't say. Like, how did you come up with it? Maybe you were inspired by Gary, maybe not. That's why I'm asking. Like, how did you arrive to that?
I mean, I'm always, as I said, I'm thankful to my parents because they brought me up in a good way that always made me help people and people around me and stuff like that. So, and be kind. I've never been I always have this talk with my friends as well. Like, I'm not a confrontational person. You want to do this way, go do it. I don't care. It's fine. You will fail and you'll come back, or you will do it perfectly. Right. It's fine. I'm not going to confront you. Just tell me the results afterwards, right? And this is how I do it myself as well, right?
You said that you don't write a lot of things down. You just do. So is there something like does the word strategy exist in your dictionary? Like, okay.
As Joseph Kubowski. So, I don't know, but I think strategy. Why are you asking this? Because why ask it? This could be a good point to go to the next point of leadership, for example, right? Strategy is something that a leader should have, right? Well, I disagree with that. I mean, a leader can be strategic, more or less strategic. Like, a leader should be somebody that inspires, and I mean, it's just linking one to the other, right? So why do you really need to be so strategic to lead and to inspire? If you do things right and people see that you're kind and nice, they could follow, and that's a way of leading, right? Of leadership, right? And you don't need to write down, I'm going to be kind today with my grandmother, and I'm going to be kind with my client today, or that, right? I don't know. It's my different way of thinking.
So, okay, let's just try to nail it down to what you're doing and what I see you doing on LinkedIn. So, for example, how do you pick where you travel? Is it also just random? Like, you wake up one day and, hey, I want to go see Greece. So you go to Greece and then you just make friends there.
Well, there's a post and pre-COVID answer to that, right? Like, as I told you before, my predisposition, if that's an English word, my readiness to travel and to be outside doing client visits or meeting people in events or whatever it's normally higher than the average person in a company, right? I am single. I have sort of a girlfriend, but I'm single. And that's another topic that we will leave for offline. But I always want to be there. I always want to be outside. I always want to travel, man. I always want to be there. So I am the first one that's going to go to my boss. I want to travel. So normally I've been doing a lot of travels to the States, like a lot. Like last year I spent 87 days in America. Mm-hmm. The year before another 3 months. The year before something about the same. Actually now you should be interviewing me from the States, because I normally go from September to November to the States nonstop, pick up my suitcase, go there, go to Longwells, go to New York, whatever, California all the time, of course, and be there, traveling around, right? So I do have a lot of readiness to travel, and I am the one that's telling everyone, I want to travel, I want to go there. How I pick places? Well, for work, of course, if you're in our industry normally, and I am lucky enough to be working for an American company that is pretty big and has had offices. We don't know that if the offices are coming back, right? In the States. I had them before as well when the offices for my previous company. So I would pick California to go there. There's a big portion of our business is there as well, right? Of course, of the business is there, Silicon Valley. So I go there to see friends, and I have some of the coolest meetings you can imagine, where I don't pitch people. I just go have lunch normally. Right, that's nice. Right. They are. And when they're ready to see what I do, they do it, right? And it's like that. And then destinations that I pick to go and live, well, I'm taking revenge of the lockdown, man. I have been 4 months locked down in Prague, staying at home. And I said, oh my God, I cannot go to the States. What am I going to do? So this year I said, every year I do a trip to Turkey and Greece, mm-hmm. because of history and to go see monuments and ruins and stuff like that. So this year I said, I'm staying in Greece. I can't go to Turkey, so I'm staying in Greece. And I'm managing to travel 100 days this year. So yeah. I use the travel as well, which is on personal terms, to work, of course, and to do content work related, and to, and my company's not paying for this. I'm doing it myself, right? So that could be a part of the Global Run Champion as well, if you want to mention it.
So let's say there's no COVID and you're in States right now. Other than catching up with your existing friends, do you try to look for new friends and potential clients in some way, or do you just go to events? Do you get introduced by people naturally? How do you expand the people that you already have as friends?
It's you said it all, being kind and being a good person makes you go deeper into it, makes you go better in relationships. And you can't imagine how friends, how mentors, like I'm here because my former client Jeff told me to be here.
Right.
So it's super cool, man. Like be nice, be good, and people will invite you. People will wanna hang out with you. And I do it in this way. Of course, I go to an event and I check who's on the list of attendees. It would be great if I can talk to this person, and then jump into somebody and you're having a beer with your friend and the other person comes, and then you have a new relationship, and then there's a potential business opportunity there. That's pre-COVID. Let's talk the moment right now. Now you do the same through building community online. How I am lucky enough because I was able to create a good circle of localization friends for a long time. But I would be super happy to start it from scratch right now, from zero. I am building community now, and I'm looking on LinkedIn who could be a member of my community, and then I'm nurturing them. I'm talking to them in a friendly way. I'm not jumping into somebody, sending him a message, a copy pasted message. As I said, I hate that big time, man.
Yeah.
So that's pre-COVID how it was. Scalable in a way, in a normal way. You go to a conference, you see the list of attendees, and these are the people that I should talk to if I can. And sometimes people are not there, and you meet another 25 that you were not expected to meet, and they are bringing you business opportunity. And now by building community, as I said, I'm lucky enough to have a little bit of the basis from the past, right? But I've been meeting super big number of new people from, as I told you, from the initiative that I'm creating, from Localife, inviting people to talk, inviting people to listen to what leaders in the industry say. And I've only done 2 sessions, 250 registered people for each session, and 50% I don't know them. And now for the next one, it's the same. We have 180 people registered today. Still a week to go for the next. Working on the community and then nurturing them, going after to them and tell them, hey, did you sending a message? Can I talk to you? I'd love to talk to you about the Localife. Did you like it? How's your life? I had a talk today with a person that could be my mentor, a person that works in the World Trade Organization today. I didn't know him, and I approached him and very kindly, and I tried to relate to tie the knots, and he said, yeah, well, let's talk. And he told me after an hour of talk, we have to talk again. And one day maybe he'll come to me and say, what are you doing? Right. It's a different approach, and to me, nurturing, working on the community, and it's, as I said, it takes the same time as doing it the old-fashioned way, and it's working on a yes basis versus working on a no basis.
Another thing which may not suit your style, I'm wondering if you have any measures or fucking KPIs.
More.
Is your life driven by KPIs? No, but okay. Let me ask this seriously. So maybe now you're in the position where you have the results. Your boss knows you. He loves you. You do things differently. It brings in business. But is there still any quota or anything that, like, how did you get to the position where they're okay? Javi Diaz, we pay him this amount of money, and it actually works for us as a company. So
quotas. That's the biggest enemy of a salesperson. It is it's in our industry. I understand that you set a quota to somebody that is in a company for 3 years, which has brought you something and has a network that is created and stuff like that. But starting new in a company and having a quota when you have nothing, when our sales cycles are 12 to 18 months minimum, like it's like the damnation. It's like them damning somebody to fail, right? I have quotas. I am working on things like numbers of opportunities created. We're working long term, man. Here we're working really long term. Like I personally am focused on long term work. Like starting to talk to people now. As I said, working on the community, nurturing them, giving them a real reason why they should be around me and around our company. A real reason, like real interesting things that represent the brand that is behind me. Right? This is a commercial initiative, but it's not. It's a mix of both. It's the way I am, it's the way the company is. It's a commercial initiative. I cannot be a hypocrite, right? There is, and so measuring success, like how many calls have we had this month? This is a real business opportunity for 2021, and I have to be here to nurture it because it's worth nurturing it. And this is the way I work and the way I set KPIs, etc. Right? I stand on my feet a little bit, man. I cannot even sit down for an hour, you see?
Yeah. Well, that's a good question. So what were you doing during the 4-month lockdown in Prague besides going crazy?
Well,
like what?
Yeah. So I had quit my job in February 14th on St. Valentine's Day, like not the previous job that I had. So I didn't have a job when the quarantine started. So when all of this started, I didn't have a job. So it was, and I was lucky enough to choose what I wanted to do next, right? Because I have a powerful set of group of friends, both from the vendor and the buyer side that I could talk to. You know what I did? I went on LinkedIn and I did a post I think it was in early March when all these things started. I want to do an experiment and I want to make people talk. I bought a domain in GoDaddy, which is also my former client as well. My guys are in Seattle. Say hi to them if they're watching. And then I opened. I did set up a professional account and stuff, and I started like setting up 30 minutes meetings for people to talk, to ask them questions. I had meetings with people from the vendor side, from the buyer side, and I didn't even have a job. I was nurturing, doing something that came from my heart. Talk to my friends, see how everybody is. I even talked to people that I didn't know. People reach out to me on LinkedIn and say, I don't know you, but I want to talk to you because it seems cool what you want to ask. Really, man. And then opportunities came. It's the same thing. Opportunities came. Like I spoke with Bill, who was the former solutions architect at MemSource, and he said, we're looking for somebody like you. I spoke with owners of LSPs. They offer me jobs, and with potential buyers that are giving me actually one of them a business opportunity right now. So I do this because I feel it. I like it. I like it. I like people. I like to see how people are, right? So how my friends are. And so, yeah, it's paying off like that. And so I started in May here, and yeah, that's it. That's how it's going, man.
Do you think that what you're doing right now is your, I don't know, I don't want to call it like a final destination, but like this is your dream job? Like this really fits you? Or is there anything else that you would eventually like to do?
Man, this is what I like to do now. You have to be, as a millennial, flexible. Like I am super happy. I like Mondays the most. Monday is my favorite day of the week because I can start doing stuff again. Right. Yeah. No, it's true, man. It's true. I'm not bullshitting you. This is the truth, man. I feel like, oh, it's Monday. Let's do things again, right? It's true. If this is what I want to do in the future, I don't know. It's like I don't know. Our generation, I think that we are not going to have the same, to live by the same principles as our parents did of having a job, 17 years in a company. Like my father had marketing director in a big company in the north of Spain for, I think, 15, 17 years, something like that. It's very difficult that we have that. There's some cases, of course, don't get me wrong, my brother has, but the majority will not have that. So if I'm working I love this industry and the people here big time. I love it. But if I'm going to be here in the next 10 years, I don't know. I don't know. who tells me that somebody's watching this podcast now, is amazing, he's in 2025 and says, how are you? Reaches out to me, is out of the industry and tells me, you are the perfect person for this. And,
right.
I am here, I'm doing what I love. And this is, and Acclaro is supporting me a lot. And I want to be with these people for a long time. But if the future is this, we don't know. Who knows what holds, right? We're millennials. It's very difficult to know. On the other side, the goal, you said it, there's no goal, it's the path. I am focused on the path, on the path of helping, connecting, being kind to your employers, to your clients, to your colleagues, to everybody. That's what I'm focused on. And that path is definitely going to bring me happiness and wealth. I'm sure. I hope it's in this industry forever because I love it and I love a lot of people here. But as I said,
speaking of the industry, one thing that I like about you, and this is where you again reminded me of Gary Vee, is that you post a lot of things that have nothing to do with localization on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Is it just to I don't know, show something about yourself, about the world to people on LinkedIn? Because it is true that even everything that I post is about localization. Like, it's not much personal. So I think that if you show that personality, it makes you stand out. Especially, when I started doing this podcast, the way I started was that I was going through the social media on LinkedIn, on Twitter. I looked at hashtag localization. I was scrolling through the posts and almost nothing stood out. Everything is the same, like you said in the beginning. People just reposting shit, this is our services, blah, blah, blah. So how did this came to be? Like, hey, I'm Javi Diaz. Now I'm in Greece. Look at beautiful Greece.
Yeah. And this is something that I always speak with a mentor of mine, Renato all the time. Yes, of course. It's about personal branding. It's how you market yourself as a professional, right? I don't know if you know Konstantin Dranch, super good friend of mine, consultant as well. We shot this video the other day in Prague when we were talking about how to use LinkedIn. What was a proper way to use LinkedIn, right?
Right.
And he was like, well, I'm gonna use LinkedIn in a way that is like sharing dull, hardcore, industry important information.
Right.
Yeah, big time. And I told him, well, I am gonna use it like posting photos of me in Greece.
Right.
But always contextual to work, something that is contextual to the work environment or to professional career development environment, which is what the platform LinkedIn is for, right? If not, if I want to do some stupid things about me jogging, then I'll do some Instagram, right? Or some stuff like that, right? So, but it's the truth, right? It's the marketing. It's how you market yourself. When somebody comes to talk to you, what they expect to hear. Although expectations are terrible, but what they expect from you, like, okay, how is this Konstantin Dranch who is posting all these things, but it's amazing. He gets like a super big engagement from the people that are going to be clients one day or friends or whatever, right? And the same from me, but from a different perspective is what you project, right? So,
is LinkedIn your main platform where you try to create content?
LinkedIn, Instagram, like, can you believe that? I would say some 30, 40 friends, potential clients of mine in the industry, they also follow me on Instagram and engage with me, and we engage at a personal level. Like, really. And this is nothing to show off or nothing. This is because it's what it is. Just like that. I use LinkedIn a lot. I spend hours and hours there. I am the kind of person that would write 5 customized targeted messages, call it that way, to somebody that I don't know, and gets 5 replies from that person. Yeah, let's talk one day. Versus copy pasting 75 messages in the day, researching and stuff like that. It depends. It's how you brand yourself, what you present. Like, there's people out there who live out of doing this, of copy pasted messages, and if they send 300 a day, 2 people are going to reply, and at the end of the month, 1 is going to become a client. If it works for you, do it. It makes you happy, do it. I'm doing what makes me happy.
Yeah.
And it's different, right? So it's how you market yourself, how you brand yourself, right?
When you mentioned Konstantin, that he does things differently and you do things differently, let's talk about the personality and let's talk about creating more global brand champions. My question is, do you think that for this role, people need to be extroverted and social? Or can you see people who are introverted, but let's say still smart and they care about the client, be successful at something like that you do?
like I think, you can be an introvert or an extrovert. Being extrovert normally helps. It brings a lot of more heat normally on if you're in marketing and sales and what you want to do. It's fine. But at the end, it's serving. Serve your people, serve your clients, serve your friends. Serving, give, never take. The problem is that people take. Mm-hmm. That's the problem. So you can be a global brand champion, be an introvert, but you have to serve. You have to serve, right? Mm-hmm. Don't be the first in taking the drink, go and serve. Oh, who wants drinks? That's the thing. Like, an introvert can do that as well, right? An introvert can offer drinks to anybody, right? Or not, anything. Serve your friends, serve your people.
So let's talk about Localife. Is that an idea that you put together to build a community, like you were saying before?
Let's go into detail for that, because it's I always recently, the recent times, and since the world is changing and has changed the world of communications, and there's a lot of people creating that kind of content. I have done a couple of podcasts and stuff. Interviews and stuff like in the past, but I have never really applied for doing things like this. I never wanted to do things like this or applied to talking conferences, etc. So when I entered Acclaro, I told them, "Oh, I love to lead something like this," and they said, "Wow, we need somebody that leads that stuff." So my role is half sales, half marketing. Put it that way. Although I report to the VP of sales, of course, to the VP of, which also, in our organization, the VP of sales is also, I think it's the director of marketing also reports to the VP of, I'm not so sure about that, but I think as well. And so it's all in the same umbrella. And I said, okay, so what are we going to do? Because we want to build we want to have talks that are online that people participate, right? It's like, leave it to me. I have this super good idea. The localization industry is overflooded by the same shit. A client and a vendor that go to you and tell you, this is our case study. We saved these people $75,000 and took their website to 75 different languages out of 5. You know what I like to reply to that? Hashtag no one gives a fuck. Right? That's bro. I spent time and hours talking on the phone with leaders in the industry, with Martinho Prada, one of my best friends and stuff. And he asked me, what is the thing that you like the most about Logwork, for example? Leadership talks, man. Leadership talks, thoughtful leadership, man. That's what I like. Not the typical case study that is all the time over there, or how we do this, which is good. You need to have them as well, right? You need to have them. But people are getting bored of that stuff. Mm-hmm. People want to talk about the personal level. People, we are, in my case, I'm not, because I'm lucky to be traveled, but most of the people are locked in at home everywhere. Not locked in, but going limited. So they want to talk. People want to talk. People are going through trouble. People have ideas. And how am I going to take my career to the next level with all the world fucking crumbling around? How am I going to do this? So how are we hiring? How are we integrating gay people in our company? Things like that, right? So I created a space with the help of Acclaro, with all the work that the team is doing, to have localization leaders in the industry discuss different things. We have done, and I'm doing this for the purpose of also, I cannot be a hypocrite. It's a commercial initiative. There's a brand behind. But I'm doing this because I feel the need of building a community around these talks. And that is not really, nobody's doing this. I don't know if there might be somebody doing it in somewhere. I don't know. Mm-hmm. But this is working. And once again, it's a community that feeds itself. It's a community that is amazing. And I nurture it. I tell you, like my work goes a lot now, since I cannot travel for business, doing this talk and then nurturing the community, going to the people that are there. How do you like it? Let's have a talk. Let me introduce myself to you. You've been a member of my audience. Thank you. Can I do anything for you? Oh, yes, I need a vendor. Oh, really? Wow. Talk to my... yes, it's like this, brother.
Wow.
It's nice. It works. Mm-hmm. You have to bring in... I wanted to create this space, as I said, for this. But this is only the first step. Like, can you imagine when the world goes back to normal in a few years? If this initiative is nurtured, what I can do? I can do meetups, localized meetups. I can do on-site prize award ceremonies. I can have a live panel discussions in somewhere. It's the future. There's only one way to go, from my understanding, and it's the community building.
Mm-hmm.
And be nice to those people, nurture them. I spend a lot of time also talking, and I hope my boss listens to this, to competitors. Like, competitors ping me, and how am I going to do this in this way? Like you probably know Kaloa. Kaloa is a very good friend of mine. He's a competitor of mine, and he asked me for feedback in his talks. Super happy to give him feedback. He's helping, and he's a member of my community as well. And everyone should be there. It's the power of the community, man. And one thing, who is today a competitor might be tomorrow your client. You don't know. You know how this industry is, right?
Mm-hmm.
And who is here that cannot buy today can buy from you tomorrow. So that's why I'm always kind to everybody. It's not that I have an interest on that, but it's because it's another reason for you to be kind. You should be kind to everybody, because you have to be a good person, and that's another reason for you to think, for the listener.
Awesome. Before we start talking about other things, I think the final question that I ask everyone: what do you think is wrong with our industry?
Is there anything wrong? Like, I don't know. Like, I'm so positive that I see not the Donald Trump positive that is lying and stuff. I'm the positive kind of thing. Like, if there's something wrong, let's change it and do it a different way. So I don't focus a lot in the wrong things. So I ask you, what is wrong about the industry? I don't know. What have other guests said about what's wrong in the industry?
I think many people view things from their perspective. So let's say, I don't know, translators are not being paid enough. They're not valued enough. I don't remember.
You know what?
Actually.
Okay, so let me look into the camera and let you. Do you know what I don't like to say about negative things? Because at the time when people come here to talk about negative things, people come here to complain. And complaining is bad. That's the problem.
Mm-hmm.
You come here to complain, that is bad. You can do whatever you want. I'm not your father, as I say always. Right? But if you come, here, father, I'm your father, right? But if you come here to talk, about what's wrong, it's because you have complaints. And people that are complaining, to my understanding, as I said, you can do whatever you want. But people that are complaining is because they're bored and they're not doing.
Mm.
That's all I have. That's my 2 cents, right? That they say in the States, right? Those are my 2 cents. Right? In Europe, we have 5 cents, right? Not so. That's the thing, man. I don't know. Like, I am not focused on that. I'm like, it's like, to me, if you're complaining, it means that you are. I mean, that if you there's something wrong to you, which could be something wrong, yeah. But if you're a translator and you're being not well paid, why don't you go and read a book of sales, how to approach better and to market yourself better, instead of coming here, oh, I'm not getting well paid. Instead of like, okay, so the next time I come to a client, I'll tell him, no, and I'm good at this and that, and you should pay for this quality because this is what you want for it. Is an introvert cannot do this? Are you telling me that an introvert cannot do this? Because fear of rejection? No, you have to do this. So don't get me wrong, I'm here to help, and this is my take, but I hate to talk about bad things and complain, because at the end, normally the bad things are complaining things, right?
So let's actually help people with the rejection. You mentioned it before.
Am I banned?
No. It's actually something that I'm working on right now. So, okay, since we said we will not talk about girls, I will still bring it up. So I have this weekly challenge where I have to go to a strange girl and ask her for a number.
Okay.
And most of the time, I do get a no. I did get some numbers, especially recently. But for me, it's definitely a practice of being okay with them saying no and not taking it personally, that something is wrong with me. And I'm pretty sure there are so many other people who have it just like me. We don't do things because we are afraid of no and rejection. So what would be your tip? How would you help people like me who are afraid of doing something, and it doesn't have to be only about girls and dating.
It's good because it's also very good. Like I have this very good friend of mine, Jorge, who lives in Dominican Republic now, and we were talking like back in the days 12 years ago when we both started in the sales career. Dude, if you're good picking up girls, or I mean, if you're a member of the LGBTQ plus community, I don't care. Let's be open-minded to this. It's if you're good at picking up, you're good in sales, which can be true or can be not true, because I've also had these discussions about I've seen the worst introverted people being salespeople. I mean, the most introverted people being the best salespeople that I can't even afford. I had that. So, but to avoid rejection, dude, opportunity. Create more and more opportunities. Do it more times, and then one time it's like any mindset is about the fact of repeating yourself things that you will assimilate at the end. So if you start saying to yourself, I don't care. Oh shit, she said yes. I don't care as well.
Right.
But I don't care, she said yes. Who cares, right? Or and don't get me wrong. This doesn't mean that you don't care about providing a good relationship or a good service to your client. Don't get me wrong. But it's a fact that you shouldn't be scared and create opportunity. That's the thing. If you are afraid of rejection, and I'm also afraid of rejection sometimes, of course. That's why you have a drink and then you forget about rejection as well, right?
Do you take a drink before you start recording Look Life?
No, I'm like this all the time. Sorry, no, I'm too intense. and that's another cool thing as well. It's that gets into your personality, both for sales, for human relationships with the sex you are into. It comes naturally. It's like any habit. Jan also gave me a book the other day, The Power of the Habit, which all the things that you start thinking, that you have mastered because you're a super intelligent person and you do this, that's not true. They're just pure and mere habits that you have adopted. Right. So when you adopt the role of being of thinking positive and thinking there's nothing that is wrong, there is nothing that is not doable, that I'm not complaining, you leave out of those things. If you on the other side start thinking I cannot do this, I'm gonna get sick, then probably that's gonna happen to you. So it's the power of the mindset, to my understanding.
What are you curious about right now?
History is my history, archaeology. That's what I spend time on, man. And it's like, if you go to my books, they're all like, what is this? They're all about okay, so look, you judge a person by the books that they're reading.
Power
right?
of
Habit. Yeah, and then Alexander the Great.
Yeah, Bravo to Zero.
Yeah.
The
Crusades.
How Clients Buy. Okay. The Wolf.
The Way of the Wolf. And then you go more there. So then, for example, this is like World War I, the Bilderberg Club, some more sales stuff, and then you go The Prince. It's a lot of history, sales. The Austro-Hungarian Empire, meaning you, like the French Revolution, and I have some freaky things that this is the World War I and II, World War explained to dummies.
The Manifesto of the Communist Party. Whoa.
And this is so freaky. My Life, Richard Wagner.
Is it like an autobiography?
So that's an autobiography by... that Richard Wagner wrote. Because I love my music. I have a very... I like to say a very well curated and developed musical taste for good music, meaning rock and roll, blues. So number one artist ever, Stevie Ray Vaughan, man, forever. And then Led Zeppelin, all of this. So let's get to the point, because it's interesting. Like, having a good taste of music is an amazing door opener for your girls, for your clients, for your opportunities, and for everything. Or having a taste for culture. When you can talk about like one of the things that I did before, like last year, I remember a good one. Like, you're in California and you ask the people, where does the name California come from? Like, really? I don't know. So that's an icebreaker. and that can lead to a nice talk or whatever, and then a business opportunity. Mm-hmm. Those are the details that I, for example, take care of, and I really focused on, right? Like those things that are, so history, opera, and things, they're nice. They're nice.
So tell me, Javi, why history? Like, were you always interested in this?
Yeah.
Since you were young?
History, art. Yeah. History and art. It's crazy. I've been I think you guys call it in the States like A student. Like in Europe, it's like 1 to 10, right?
Man, so I studied in Europe. Come on. I don't know anything about US education system.
That's true. So we have our marks were from 1 to 10, right? So I always got like 8, 7, 8, and 9s, right? Something like that. Mm-hmm. Sometimes a 10, right? So and I'm a so it's an arts person. I'm an arts person, and I develop a taste for history, archaeology, mm-hmm. and all of that. And that's why I'm in Greece now. Not because of the beaches that I go to every day, but yeah.
You know what I'm curious about? Because in the beginning you were talking about us being millennials and how we like to change things and do things in a new way. How do you think this correlates with you having passion for history? Like, is there something that you learn from the history that you see is happening right now in the world, or maybe that you even apply for your job? Do you always try to find a connection, or is it just like passion, like something that you do just to learn something more about history? Or is there a more practical aspect to you being interested in history?
Man, like it shows you, I mean, history shows you a lot about what people have done in the past, and why we're here, and why are you Slovakian and not Czechoslovakian or Austrian? You should be Austrian, maybe, perhaps, right? Or Austrian-Hungarian or something like that. Depends on the year that we look at it, right?
Right.
And it's I think it explains a lot. It explains a lot of habits that Germans have, and why we don't have those habits, mm-hmm. Spanish people. In a globalized world is important, right? To understand that to market your products is better, right? For all of those that are out there, right? So it explains a lot, man. Like really. Like, I don't know, which example could I give you? I don't know. Like I don't know. I cannot think of one, but yeah, it helps you explain a lot of stuff.
Maybe you can talk about the German habits that you mentioned.
German habits.
What is one of the examples?
I lived there so long, man. So let me no. Let's pick another nationality.
What is something that you learned from the history that you applied for building relationships, other than what you, by the way, already shared? Because technically the culture of different countries can also help you with these relationships. Yeah, it's that's basically that, or you know, this I'm the kind of history fact guy, the guy that is talking to his friends drunk in a bar, and I start pulling out dates, something like that, like 1812 with the fall of whatever, or you know, something like that, right? Like the name of Bratislava, Pressburg, and all that stuff, right? All of those things that people don't, right? The Treaty of Pressburg, 1800 whatever, what was it, 1806 or something like that, right? Those things, those are the things that I really like, right? And they say, Pressburg? What is Pressburg? And say, it's called Bratislava nowadays. Right? That's what I always hated about history classes, is to remember all the dates and what happened on each date. I hated it, man, so much. It's like, why do I need to know the exact date? Like, how does it help me? I never got that. No. I was saying that it depends on I hated maths. I shit my pants in front of a maths exam. Literally. I was like, I cannot do this. And I don't think I'm a stupid guy, but I couldn't do this. So your limitations again. And what you like and what you develop in. Yeah, right? So totally. Now, what is something that people seem to misunderstand about you? And I don't want you to think about this as a negative question. Let's talk about like first impression about you, and what do people seem to think about? So
first impression, I always smile, because I always smile. And when you talk to somebody for the first time, the first and only thing that person is going to remember for the rest of his life is that big smile that you put on your face for them.
Right.
True. For you to pick girls, for you to do business, for you to live as a global brand champion, for you to live as a playboy, as you want. But that's the thing.
Nice.
That's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing. And it's true. But once again, I'm not saying this to fake it. It's because it's like this. I feel it. I enjoy it. I have a rush when I am there. When I'm with people, and so that's the thing, right? That misunderstand. I don't know. I'm well intended, well hearted, and people have their limits, and sometimes their limits can say you're too intense, or things like that, or because I am so quiet that I want to be alone, left alone, and you're too. Maybe it's good for them if they're happy. Good. It's always great. Can you believe I'm the kind of person that I go to my boss and tell him, bro, don't tell me what I do good. Tell me what I do bad. I don't want to know what I do good. I know what I do good. Tell me what I do bad.
Yeah.
And I swear to God, like, you can go ask any of my bosses, like, how many times, tell me what I do bad, not what I do good. So that's the thing, right? It's the attitude and intensity, maybe. Yeah, I don't know. But as I said, I'm trying to use emotional intelligence to adapt to the person that is in front of me, right? To measure, okay, this is not working, or this is going to be just, or.
What are the things that you changed your mind about?
I don't know, man. Like that I changed my mind.
Yeah, like something fundamental, like let's say until you were 30, you were thinking this is the way the world works, this is who I am, and then something happened and suddenly, there's like that drastic change.
I change my mind every day. No, because it's I live by the principle of flexibility. Once again, I don't know. I live by flexibility, and so I try to think of some things that are good for now and some things that that good for now, but how they're going to be in the future. So, and I live with no regrets as well. Like I live with no regrets. Like really, I live with no regrets.
Oh yeah, yes.
But
are there any absurd or stupid things that you do?
I live crazy all the time. Go to my Instagram and check it. I live, but it's positively crazy. It's positively crazy. Like I love Dani Alves, the football player that played for Barca and all that stuff, and he was always using the hashtag crazy positive, and I love that. So it's the same thing. Be different. I'm different. I don't know. I do not crazy things, but I don't know. Like no, but I do crazy stuff all the time. Yeah, call it that way. But it brings happiness because it's well intended. I don't do crazy things to hurt nobody. Right. My colleagues, my boss, my clients, my friends, my family, right? So,
Javi, it was a lot of fun with you. I would like you to maybe give your final words to the industry. This is where you get to share your kindness and be polite.
Final words. Man, final words sounds so like, say your final words, I'm going to shoot you. like
you don't know what's going to happen.
No, I don't know what's going to happen, man. No, it's like, if I can say something is like stay positive, man. Stay positive. Be flexible. Don't help. Be there always. Try to connect. The world is not gonna be the same once we go out of back to normality. You're gonna have to adapt to new ways of work, to new ways of doing business, to new ways of using technologies, to new ways of translating, to new ways of everything. Be flexible. That's all I have to say. Like, forget all your fucking well-learned standards. Live and face your demons. That's all I have to say.
Nice.
And you can screenshot this.
We'll have the whole video, so don't worry.
Yeah, nice.
All right, Javi. A lot of fun with you. Thank you very much for coming to the podcast.
Cheers, man. Whenever. I'm back whenever you want.
All right. Thank you. Cheers. Bye-bye.
Bye.